Happy Sunday, Stampers and Paper Crafters. This is Facebook Live number 343. My name is Joy Borwedge, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I live in Burnsville, Minnesota, and I have been a demonstrator since 1999. I am actually celebrating my 25th anniversary this month, so day me. I have never been... I never thought that I was a paper crafter. When I got invited to a party in 1997, a bunch of girlfriends went out of town to a hotel to escape the children and the husbands and do something fun. And they came back, and one of the girls said, "This is what we did. Look at this." And she goes, "I made this." And I'm like, "Really cool." She goes, "Well, I'm going to have a party." And I said, "Okay, sounds like fun." She goes, "Do you want to come?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And when I got to see what you could do with rubber stamps, at that time, Stampin' Up! Was not exclusive to the colors that they had, nor the stamp sets. And it was very country-ish back then. And they didn't have a lot of stamp sets. They had a lot of single stamps. So I ended up hosting a workshop from booking a party after, so the hostess gets credit for having a party being booked. I get a free catalog, and that's how it started. And out of all my friends, I never thought that I would be the one still in it 25 years later. And my sister is an artist. She gets to draw, she gets to paint. She's awesome. I make cards, and I cannot do a stick figure looking good. So cards is about my therapeutic outlet. So never thought that that's something that I love doing and basically needed. And I have met some really cool people, and to call them friends all because of a rubber stamp. I love it. So anyways, I'm going to put you down at the table in just a second, and if you get motion sickness or anything like that, look away, and I'll let you know when I'm done messing around with the camera. All right, so hold on. So hopefully everybody had a great weekend so far. It is Sunday, and it's August. All right, I'm going to twist that. Or, oops, that's too tight. I have to get used to the setup. It's still, ooh, it swung nicely. It didn't stick. Yay. I'm learning. Okay, so now we have to make this straight. Okay, so I have to move this forward. Just to let you know, I live close to a hospital and fire trucks, so if you hear that in the background, there we go. I'm going to move this forward to me. Yeah, we're about 5 minutes away from Fairview Ridges in Burnsville, Minnesota. And there we go. I think I'm pretty even. I'm going to set some light on this subject from both ends. So again, my name is Joy Borwedge. I have an Instagram page at Stampin' for Joy. Now, the Instagram page is listed. So like today is Facebook Live number 343. This happens to be card number 342. So if you wish to see how this was made, and it was embossed with the new Wow embossing powder, you can go back to my Facebook Lives and check out the numbers. So Instagram is related to Facebook for me. So stampinforjoy.stampinup.net is my online store. My host code is W6ZNNGCX. So you can use that host code when you have an order that is under $150. When you have an order that is over $150, don't use that host code, because I want you to receive the free product that you earn. PenguinZ33 at Outlook.com is my email address. So you can request the catalog. Now this one here is the annual catalog, and I can certainly show you the inside pages. Now there's a new catalog that's coming out. This is called the mini catalog that is September through December 2004. Now I can't show you anything from this catalog yet. Number one, my pre-order has not yet arrived, and I can't show you this until it goes live. So if you wish to have either a catalog or both mailed out to you, please send me an email at penguinz33@outlook.com and I will send it out to you. All right, now the few things that we have to talk about are check out the online exclusives. I'm just going to go very quick. So the online exclusives are something that do not see a publication. So they are existing only in the online store, and you can purchase that through my website, and it's while supplies lasts. Now I have done Simply Zinnias, so I have several Facebook Lives about that. I did a Facebook Live recently about the Encircled in Nature. Turned out really cool. And now these are considered sweets. That means that you will earn 10% off when you purchase a bundle. The Potions and Spells bundle is in the online store, along with the Coordinating Iconic Celebrations Suite. Now what that means is that there's a stamp set and a die set, and everything you see here, designer series paper, ribbon, the adhesive backed dots, that is considered in that suite, and you save that 10% off as well. Also in the online exclusives is the Mega Bundle, and a Mega Bundle is what we call it when you have two stamp sets in the same suite. Now you can certainly order the whole suite, get the stamp set here and the dies, the bundles, along with the designer series paper and the coordinating ribbon and the cherry cobbler pearl backed adhesive berries. Now, if you wanted to just get the greetings bundle and everything else, you would just have to add all those numbers into your shopping cart rather than just one number. So it's pretty easy. The Changing with Leaves bundle is something that's actually different because it has a stamp set, a die set, as well as a coordinating folder. And we have had several of those that when you have the folder and the dies and they click in, you can emboss and cut at the same time. Now, one thing that's going on right now through the end of August is the designer series paper, where it's on sale. Now it's selected items, and it's all from the annual catalog. It's not anything that is from the online store or anything that's in the pre-order that demonstrators get to view. So we have the Bright and Beautiful, which is a 6x6, Country Lace, which is a 12x12, Full of Life, that is a 12x12, Mediterranean Blooms, that's a 12x12, Countryside Inn, that's a 12x12. This happens to be my favorite designer series paper, and we're using it tonight. It's Country Woods, 12x12, Lily Pond Lane, which is a 6x6. In the 6x6, you get 48 sheets, and in a 12x12, you get 12 sheets. Perennial Lavender, that is also on sale. Take, that's a 12x12. Take to the Sky, that's a 12x12. To the Market, to Market, that's 12x12. Wildly Flowering, that's a 12x12. Thoughtful Journey, that's a 6x6. And like I said, you get 48 sheets. That's a lot. Unbounded Beauty, that's a 12x12. And the Winter Meadow, that's a 12x12. You will save 15% off in my online store, when you purchase these Designer Series papers, stock up if you like them. And like I said, the sale goes through the end of August. So there we go. And also, I want to remind you that if you earned any of those rewards for shopping in July and you received the $5 off coupon, you want to redeem those in my online store by the end of August as well. Because once September hits, those cards are going to, or those rewards are going to diminish. So this is the card that we're going to be working on tonight, and I'm going to show you the difference between the Wow embossing powder compared to the Stampin' Up! Embossing powder. Okay, there's a bug. Sorry about that. It was on my card. So I got it, and then it landed right there, so I had to flick it off. So sorry about that. Anyways, that's me clapping for a beautiful card. Yay! And what is that? Okay. But anyways, we have a beautiful card here made with the You Are Beautiful stamp set. Now this is a standalone, which means it does not have a die, does not have a punch to it. So we will be using the You Are Beautiful stamp set. Now it's called Distinctive, and what that means is you're going to see all these little pinpoint dots, okay, really tiny dots. And so what it does is when you stamp the image, you get shading. Stampin' Up! Excuse me, automatically puts that in there to give you light and dark in the stamped image, and that's called Distinctive, and that's a Stampin' Up! Design. All right, we're also going to be using the Everyday Details. We're going to be using the largest one here, and there's also the back side. And so that's a 2-pager. It's in the online store, and I have a cheat sheet for that one too. Basically showing what it looks like when it's all cut up. And I don't know where it went. I do these so that, there it is. So this is what it looks like. I'm going to put it this way. So this is what it looks like when it's die cut. So this one here and this one here has, when you do it correctly, you have a frame. So you can actually use this and use the circle part, and we're actually going to do that. So this size here of this circle does that, and the largest rectangle does that as well. So you create a frame. Now these pieces don't cut anything out except for the decorations. So that is the Everyday Details dies, and it's on page 69 in the annual catalog. And oh no, it's not. It's in the online store. I forgot to take that off, but this is what this looks like when you die cut it, so you could see the actual design. Then the Country Woods Designer Series paper that we're using tonight is the one of them that's on 15% off. So you see the A side and the B side. So everything is double-sided, and it coordinates with quite a bit of the cardstock that Stampin' Up! Has in their families. And then we have, now I am showing embossing tonight, and that's heat embossing. There's 2 ways of embossing, and one way is to use the Stampin' Cut Emboss machine and use a folder, and that's dry embossing. And so that gives you a textured, let's see if I can find a card that I have right here. There we go. That is dry embossing. The background in the midnight, sorry, the misty moonlight, and you could see the 3D timber folder, and I actually have the same folder in this one as well, and you could probably see that a little differently. And these are previous Facebook Lives that I've done as well. So that's one way to emboss. Now the other one is heat embossing. And we have had in the past, Stampin' Up! Had their own embossing powder. And so here is the difference between the white. Now, in my opinion, the Wow is a lot more brighter and lighter than the Stampin' Up! So this is the Wow. This is going to be the version that you're going to see in the catalog currently. Then this one right here is the clear. Now, to me, it's a little bit darker, so you could see more design than the clear that Stampin' Up! Used to carry. Now the black, I don't know if you can tell here, but it is darker. It's more vividly black. And I had to do the penguin because, you know me, I love penguins. And then the copper. Now the copper is more of a coppery color than this one. It's a lot lighter. It's lighter in color. I don't know if you could see very well the foilness, but the color is a lot, it's more coppery. Same thing with the gold. The gold is more of a yellow gold, and this here has kind of, to me, like more of I don't know which we call it. This is more of a brighter gold, is what I'm trying to say. And the silver, there's really not a lot difference in the silver for me, except for I think this is kind of brighter, I guess. So I really, really like, I just wanted to show the difference between the Wow. And so I noticed the most difference in between the white and the black, and actually when you compare the metallics, they're the colors that I actually like better are in the Wow. So we're going to be actually using the copper tonight. Now the copper is going to be using in the distinctive, so it might take a little different tone than if you would use it with ink. But we're going to actually do both tonight. So I'm just going to show that to you and how to make this card. Okay, so let's put that there so I could see my sample. Okay, so let's grab out the pieces that we're going to be playing with and the measurements, so that if you wish to come back and recreate this card, you can certainly do that. So we have a piece of that Designer Series paper, and it is 5 by 3 3/4. We have a 1/2 inch scrap piece of that same Designer Series paper that's going to go on the inside of the card. This is a 2 by 4 1/4 basic white piece. This is the actual card. Okay, so it is 4 by 10 1/2, and I scored it at 5 1/4. Another piece of basic white. It is 2 3/4 by 4 1/2. And then I have a piece of Pretty Peacock. And this is a 1/4 sheet, so it's 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. And I'm going to leave it there like that for just a moment so that you can come back in and pause it and then get your cardstock cut up. Now, if you don't have the same stamp set, you can use what you have. You can also use the Designer Series paper that you have on hand. Like I said, if you don't have this Country Woods Designer Series paper, it's on sale for 15% up. Stack up. All right, I'm going to take a drink. All right, so we're going to take these off. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this piece here and we're going to stamp on it. I'm just going to get those out of my way, and I am going to get my
I'm going to use my Stampin' Pearson mat, and even though this is red rubber, the only reason why I'm using it is because it just has a piece of scrap paper on it, and when I stamp off, then I'm not going to have to worry about wiping it down. This is the glass mat, and it is available in my online store, and it was a Celebration sign-up special, and demonstrators were allowed to purchase it. So when you, when they had sale, when they hit the number, they had to cut those off. And so now it's available. So this, I'm having a hard time speaking. I don't know why. So the glass mat comes with the chamois. And the chamois that I have, I cut it into 4s. So then that way I can have one wet with me, one drying out. And it also comes with this silicone mat. So you will get all of those pieces. And that is your Glass Mat Studio. And that's how it works. And I love using this because I tend to get glue. My snail, I mean, not my snail, my Stampin' Seal. And when I run off the paper, I usually hit the glass mat. That little chamois cleans it off, and it doesn't gunk up. So it's really cool. So now we're going to stamp this, and we're going to use the pecan pie, and we're going to use the larger piece of the stamp set. Now this is block I, and so we're going to open this up, and so we're going to ink this up, and we're going to stamp off. And what I mean by that, there's 2 different versions of stamping off, and one is that it's coming off the page. Okay, the other one is stamping the full image so that the ink is here and then it goes onto here a lighter color. That's called stamping off as well. So I'm just going to hit the inner there, and I'm going to twist this around, and not necessarily, I'm just going to keep my ink in my hand, or the paper in my hand, and twist it rather than constantly twisting my stamp. Okay, I don't want to get any, I don't want to make my wrist hurt stamping. And so if you just need to get a piece, so I'm going to just show you actually on here just what that means when I told you it was distinctive. So you could see that there is a lighter, there's a bunch of dots there, so it gives the effect that this has shading in it. Same thing with this piece right here. So I just kind of wanted to show you. It's kind of hard to see. You could see when you have distinctive that you don't want to push down too hard, because otherwise it's going to cover up all those dots and flood in, and it's not going to do the, it's not going to behave the way it's supposed to. Alright, so this piece here, we're going to actually do the same thing. We're just going to lightly stamp it and move the paper around, and there we go. This is going to decorate the inside of the stamp. And then also, I'm going to show you a technique that I used, but because this is actually going to take a little while for it to dry, I did this a while ago, so I'm actually going to show you how to color something if you don't have the Stampin' Blends. Now, you could certainly take your Stampin' Blend marker and color your twine to match your project, whatever you're doing. However, some people may not have the Stampin' Blends, so I want to give you a different way to do it. So what you can do is get a finger dauber, okay, and take it and just run it through your ink pad. Now, you're going to have to let it dry because this is not alcohol ink. So, water-based ink takes a little bit longer to dry, but if you don't have the Stampin' Blends, you're going to have to just let it dry. Okay, so that's what it does. It changes the color for you to match the project that you need to get, you know, we don't have a lot to choose from in the brownish tones coming up for ribbon. So then you just cut that off and then let it dry. Now this here is the Calypso Coral, and what I have done is put a little snippet right there, took my scissors and cut it, so that way when I'm done with it, I just put it in there and it holds. That way, let's see, it doesn't unravel. So now this is the Baker's Twine. It's the 3-color pack. It's carried over. It's in the annual catalog. Now, if you're in the online store and you don't remember that, in the search bar, just type in Baker's Twine and everything shows up with the word Baker's Twine in it. It doesn't matter if it's a 3-pack or a 4-pack. I love that Stampin' Up! Did that because I have a hard time remembering all the names with, you know, all the things that are available to us. And as a demonstrator, right now, this is bothering me. I'm going to take this off and put a new piece on because that is very distracting to me. So, just going to change that over and grab a piece of tape, and that'll work. I'm going to grab some more tape. When I do my Facebook Lives, I like to have them clean. And when I am designing for my own events, I will let it get dirty. And then once it starts bothering me, then I'll change it again. So it generally goes clean for a Facebook Live, and then it gets dirty through the week, and then I'll change it for the next Facebook Live. So that's how that goes. Let's see here. Okay, so we stamped this in pecan pie, so that's the way we liked that paper. So now I'm going to clean it because I'm going to need it to use on wrong thing. I mean, I could clean it with that, but I have my Simply Chamois here. So, and again, my Simply Chamois is for my stamps. And I generally keep the two different because one I get glued up, the other one I do not. And that's a little bit too juicy. I have too much water in here. I forgot to. I guess I didn't squeeze it enough. There we go. That is drier. So, yeah. So your Simply Chamois comes in a bigger case, I mean a bigger piece, but again, I cut mine down to 4 so that when I do my stamp camps or my events and I have 4 different tables, then I have enough for everybody. Okay, so now we are going to take this piece. Now, a lot of times I do my heat embossing and then I put it, I do my heat embossing after I put it through the Stampin' Cut emboss machine because otherwise you might affect it somehow. So I'm actually going to put this through the Stampin' Cut emboss machine first, and then we'll heat emboss it, and then we actually need to put, let's see here, how do we do that? I changed things up so many times during my designing of my card that I sometimes forget in what steps I did things. So I'm just going to hold up, move that, move this, and then we'll get the die cut. All right. So here comes the Stampin' Cut Emboss machine. And when you get it, it comes with platform number 1, and it comes with a thin adapter plate number 2, and mine I put upside down because I flip-flop it every so often. This is cutting plate number 3, and then we put the dies on. Now this has a straight edge, okay? So when you put this through, you do not want to put it straight on like this. You want to put it at an angle. And because we want to keep the nice frame around it, this one we're going to use the frame. So it cuts out the center and then it makes a frame. So I'm trying to make it as equal distance, okay? So I'm going to put that through here, and I'm going to put that like this through here. So then we're going to put this at an angle so it doesn't put the pressure going straight in on your rollers, and it keeps the Stampin' Cut Emboss machine working. And then we're going to put another plate on top. Okay, so we're going to roll that through. Sorry for the shaking of the machine. Now, this works perfectly, so you only have to run it through one time. I'm right-handed, so I always bring it back over to here. Sometimes I roll it right back just so that it lands back at the right side, but I don't need to do that. Now see how that lifts perfectly, and only one of the little dots remained in there. It came out very nicely. So I'm going to show you what to do with that. This we need to clean up. So I'm going to grab I'm going to move this off the table, but I'm going to keep this plate. Okay, so I'm just going to move this off. Okay, so this is what I do with mine. So see all those little white dots there? If you leave them on there, you're going to actually create bumps in your next project. So you want to make sure those are all gone. So eventually, oh, that little one came out, so we're done with that one. I'm going to take the flat surface and just shimmy that down. Okay. Now this is called the die brush adapter. So when you have the take your pick tool, it looks like this. And the putty part can come out just like this. And then the die brush, which you purchase in the online store, it's in the annual catalog, and it comes with one of these foam pieces. Now I actually have 2 of them. That way, when I am die cutting, I don't have to constantly flip-flop back and forth. I use the putty a lot, I use the people poker a lot, and I use the die brush a lot. So this way, I'm not constantly changing it around. So I'm going to take off what I call the people poker, because I am the people it pokes. Wait, no, I'm not. I'm going to use the die brush part first. So you just go like this. Okay, you could do it on, or you could do it off. I prefer to do it on. That way I can see if their holes are still in there. And if you want, you can use all these little white dots as confetti and put them on the inside of your card and basically recycle those little dots. and give them to somebody, and they will have to clean up your mess. Or you could put that in a shaker card, like little snowflakes. Oh, that would be cool, because you know what? There's a penguin in the stamping, the new Holiday Mini. People who have been around for a while call it the Holiday Mini. Yeah, they decided to change the name, but we keep it that way. Okay, so now this here, if you're doing quite a bit, this is a great place to keep everything clean, and I also keep the lid on it. That way nobody takes my foam. I used to have a cat. His name was Lewis. He loved anything that was foam. So I keep things pretty well locked up. And I do not need to give another cat an idea of what to do. Or I should say, what not to do. Okay, so now this one's done. So that's all cleaned out, ready to go. I'm going to put it back on my magnetic sheet that's just sitting over there, over that way, so that when I'm done and I put everything away, I don't miss that, don't lose it. And I'm going to put the lid back on this so that if that drops, I don't have little white dots all over the floor. Okay, so where should I put that? Right there is good enough for me. Okay, so I am going to stamp the greeting in Memento, and I was going to use a die to cut this out, but I decided not to. I liked it better when it was just pretty close cropped to the way it is. Okay, so we're going to clean that up with the Simply Chamois. I don't like to leave ink on my stamps very long, especially the, what do you call it? The photopolymer. Now I'm going to leave this. Now this happens to be a little crooked for me, so I'm going to make this straight. So I'm going to give that a straight line. There we go. And now somebody's going to win this card. So I want to make sure that whoever wins it is going to be happy with it and make someone's day. All right, so I'm going to line that up straight and just give that a nice cut right there and kind of close crop. There we go. Because basically, I don't want to hide my image. So the smaller it is, the less room it will take. All right, I think that looks good. And this is a Stampin' Up! Mini cutter. This was another Celebration Join Up. We as demonstrators got a chance to purchase it. That's one thing about being a demonstrator, is that you get all these options to join in. And there we go. Now, let's see here. We are going to use this finger dauber. It has ink on it already from, remember when we were doing that ribbon technique? If you missed it and you're coming in late, go back in and watch how we use this finger dauber. There we go. And they come in a pack of 5, and you can, I rinse mine out. You can have one for each color if you so choose. I used to take a printer, copy printer, and write all the names on here in you know, I type it up, and this would be pecan pie. And so then I would just take pecan pie, cut it up so it fits here, and then just take a piece of Scotch tape, and that way I knew what this color was. So I had one for each color, but I stopped doing that a long time ago just because I have blending brushes, so I don't use my finger daubers as much as I used to. Okay, so we're good with that. Now we're going to actually use this is the Dark Pretty Peacock. Now this one is the alcohol marker, and we're going to use it in a different fashion than it's intended. This is to color, but what we're doing here is we're coloring the frame because I don't want to do this twice, because I wanted the center white and I wanted the outside pretty peacock. So I'm just using my Stampin' Blends to actually give me color on my frame so that it will coordinate, and ta-da! It's going to dry, and it's going to be really cool. Oop, there's a little spot that you could see the white there, but whoever wins this card is not going to be able to say, you're going to send it to somebody. Oh, there's a little bit of white there too. So I'm just going to color that up. I think I got it all. But I mean, it looks pretty cool, doesn't it? You can do that with any color. Okay, so then now we might as well start putting things together. Okay. Now, first of all, I forgot a scrap piece of paper. Here we go. Here's a piece of scrap paper. I forgot. We need a piece big enough for that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 markers. Okay, this is water-based. These are alcohol-based. You cannot use these on your stamp. It would be like drawing with a Sharpie. That color will not come off. If you use your markers on your stamp, you can wash it off. Right, so we're going to take the brush tip, okay, and we're going to, on the side of my brush, we're not going to color this way. We don't want to break the tip, okay. We're just going to color that up like that. And then see the thicker line here? That means that's the brush. The thinner line here, that means it's the nib tip, so you can write with it. So if you're into scrapbooking, you can create something and then journal with the same color, and it will coordinate. Isn't that cool? All right, so then now we're going to take that and we're going to get the stems right here. I just figured it would be a lot easier to color that with the pink or the peach. Calypso Coral, I meant, and then I got a berry. So I'm going to have to go back in and color my berry. More Calypso. There we go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to huff on it. Take it to our mouth and go, and not eat it, but just re-wet it. Isn't that pretty? Now you can see those little dots in there to give you some really nice color contrast. And then we're just going to take my paper snips and we're going to cut that out. Like I said, there are no dies or punches for this stamp set, but that's okay. These images are really easy to cut out, and the paper snips are really sharp, so don't snip your fingers. Actually, I'm a little thicker than what I want it to be, so I'm just going to go back in. I'm going to leave a thin line up there. And I'm just going to twist my paper. Actually, I'm just going to cut that off. And then twist my paper. Rather than twisting my scissors. Same thing with coloring the leaf, stamping with the leaf earlier. You want to just twist your paper. I'm getting really close now. Nobody will notice. All right, we'll just snip that off, go back in, and just go up and around. All right. Sometimes doing the smaller pieces, fussy cutting, it's a little bit harder because you don't have as much space to play around with. There we go. And it turned out very nice, didn't it? Okay, so we're going to put that in the trash. All right, and then we're going to on the inside of the card here, we are going to lay down this. Now this we're not attaching yet, just because if I make a mistake, then I can flip it over. So this is not a practice, but this is allowing me to see where my cardstock is, or my designer series paper is going. And I'm just going to put that there. I'm going to hold it because otherwise the weight, and I'm going to stamp this image again. That's why we haven't cleaned it yet. All right, so we're going to go back in and we're going to ink up with the marker again, using it on its side. That way we're not hurting any bristles. And then the pretty peacock. And I'm going to show you my inspiration for where I got the colors from. Stampin' Up! Gives us a lot of inspiration if you know how to use it. All right. And I'm just going to try to get the stems without getting the berries. Okay, so again, we're going to just close that up. Hear that snip, or that snapping sound. We're going to huff on that. We're going to put that right there on the inside of our card. I really like to decorate the inside of the card as well as bring the inside of the card, or the outside of the card, to the inside of the card. And let's see. The inside of the card is going to say, "You are a shining light." And we're going to use the memento for that. I really, really like this stamp set. I have some fuzzies, and so I'm going to get my fuzzy getter. Where did it go? Right there. This is a really old paper piercer that came in a kit, and that kit had like a hammer and a little cylindrical circle that made a hole when you pound it on a what is it called? A mat. And beautiful. Okay, so now we're going to close that up. And it turned good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that paper. I'm going to take that off right now for a second. and get out my silicone mat. Now this is the one that we stamped on with our stamp, obviously, and I'm going to use the Stamp and Seal. I put it back. I put the lid back on and I put it back where it goes. Sometimes I do that when I do a Facebook Live, and I generally try to keep things over here that way when I'm using them, so I'm constantly not looking for them, but it's a habit for me to put things back where they go. So sorry about that. Right, that is going to go right there and right at the edge. I'm going to take a paper snip and flip that over and snip that off. All right. Okay, so now we are going to take this and we are going to adhere this to our base, which is Pretty Peacock. All right, I think we're good. Just a little bit down more. There we go. Okay, then now we are going to put this on here. I really like my silicone mat. It's one of my tools that I tell everybody they need to have. The paper, take your pick tool and the silicone mat are must-haves. All right, I think we're good on that. Okay, so now see how that turned out really nicely? Okay, so now we're going to take this piece. This is the piece that when we put that through the Stampin' Cut Emboss machine, that's what it did. So I didn't want to do one through Pretty Peacock and then have the, oh, it did not come out. There we go. Now that's going to go back in the trash. I find those little pieces all over the place. Okay, so this should be dry. So now what we're going to do is we're going to lay that down, and this here is the fine tip glue pen. You want to, I like to leave this here is it's less than full. Okay, so it's less than halfway full. So what I like to do is leave it on its side so that it does not get any air bubbles in it. And it is a very sticky glue, and I really like it a lot. The it could be kind of like what a Crystal Effects used to be like. It's clear. It's nice to have a thin point, so it's very it's perfect for anything tiny. Okay, so now I'm going to put a little tiny metal thing in. How I do it is I like to hold it with my middle finger so I can guide it into the hole, and that's how I do it so well. And then in my carousel, which is carousel, it's over there, I just lay it down in its spot. Here, I'll twist that, and then you can see what it looks like. Just that way. That's my carousel. So it twists and turns. And then that way it does not get any air bubbles in it. Okay. Alrighty, sorry about that. Now I'm done moving with the camera. Alright, so we're going to put this at an angle. Ooh. Okay, Okay, so that is going to touch the white. That's going to touch the white. And hopefully we're just going to leave that sit for a second, and then we're going to flip it over. And oops, burnish it. All right. Apparently there's not enough glue. I did it very softly. I didn't use enough glue to hold it down. So I did that on the original card too. So here we go. We'll just I just didn't want it to leak out by doing too much, you know, because there's a lot of holes there. All right, so then we'll just do that. It's not like you're going to pay attention to it anyways, because it's going to be a cool card once we're done. All right, and so we're going to flip this over and let that sit for a few seconds, so that way, and then we'll put that back in there again. I'm gonna have a glue burger. All right, so now it should be good. See, it's stuck. Cool. Okay, so then now we are going, I'm actually going to get my chamois out for my plate here, because we got some glue on this, and we got some glue on my glass mat, because I do not wish, squeak, squeak, squeak. That's how you know it's getting clean, right? But I do not wish to have glue on the back side of the card or anything stuck. Hey, Benji. All right, so that's cleaned now. So what we're going to do is we are going to ink up. So I'm going to grab a scrap sheet of paper, and we're going to use the Embossing Buddy. And we're going to put that on here, and we're going to put it also on here. And this is the tool kit. This is also in the annual catalog. I live in Minnesota, so I also like to use the Embossing Buddy on the inside of this as well, so that things release quicker than they would if it wasn't so easy to get sticky. All right, so I'm going to clean, before we emboss, we're going to clean stamps. Just because, like I said, I don't like to leave the ink unnecessarily long on my images. So today we are going to use the copper. And here is the copper that I showed, and we could have used gold or silver, but I decided that the copper looked better with the tone of the pecan pie. All right, so you want to use a sticky ink, which is Versamark right now, and we're going to ink that up in Versamark. All right, so it's a tacky ink, and then we are going to stamp the image on. Now it's going to, because of the size of the stamp, it's going to hit some, oops, my head hit the, sorry about that. All right, so it's clear. You won't see it very well like that, but there is a fuzzy right there. All right, so I see that. Okay, so we're going to lay that down in, and then we're going to use the copper embossing powder, making sure we're covering it up and wiggling that out. Okay, so it comes with a brush. Okay, I am going to grab my paintbrush. I have a tiny paintbrush that I like to use when I have detailed images like this. I'm actually going to sit down to do this because then I can see better than I am through my camera. There is a fuzzy, so get rid of that. And if you don't get rid of these pieces, it will, the heat tool will make them stay forever. So, and that's why we use the embossing buddy to help with the static cling. And my hand is always shaky when I do Facebook Lives. So trying to get that little tiny piece right there. I did, you know, this is 340, this is my 343rd video, and I still get nervous. So you can get entered to win this card, and you don't have to buy anything. All you have to do is like, so do a thumbs up or a heart if you've enjoyed this video. That will get your name entered into the drawing. If you leave a comment, all you have to do is say hi. It's nice to know where you're from. If you are new to me, hit that reminder or that notification button so that it will let you know when I go live. I generally go live on Sundays after 5 o'clock, and I really like to do Thursdays after 5 as well, but sometimes it's hard for me because of when I get off of work. Or if I have, like this past Thursday, we went out to dinner with friends, and it was so chilly sitting out on the patio. It was nice out, but it was chilly. It was very windy. Okay, so I like how that looks, and I think I got, now I may still have extra pieces, but I can't see them right now, so hopefully all right, so here this has a spout, and so what it does is you twist this off and you pour that back into your bottle. So this will last you a really long time. All right, so I'm actually going to move this down a little bit for some strange reason. Yeah, so that looks better, I think. So I'm just going to do this. I'm going to move this over later after the video, so you don't have to watch me do that. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to heat that up, and we're going to use the tweezers. These are the reverse tweezers, and what it does is it holds it so that way you don't burn yourself. And I really like these tweezers because they are ceramic and they will not melt, so that's pretty cool. Okay, so I'm just going to heat this up, and I'm going to try to do this underneath so that you could see it change. I'm going to have to do it this way. Look at that go. All right, I mean, isn't that cool? Okay, so I'm going to turn that off. So now, see the reason why I wanted to do the embossing first? Because I don't want to take this and put it through the Stampin' Cut Emboss machine. Because then that way, see, there's a little bit there, but otherwise, you're not going to see that very much anyways. Okay, but I don't want to have that Stampin' Cut Emboss machine interact with this, so I wanted to be able to take that off. So now let's get putting the card together. All right, I had to take a drink. Okay, so what we need is that, now this is the baker's twine that I colored, and I showed you how to do that, and it's still kind of wet, and I did this a long time ago, so I don't know how long it's going to take to dry, but we're going to do this and all right, so there we go. See, my fingers are still kind of inky, so I'm actually gonna get out a baby wipe with that. And like I said, if you're gonna do this card, you're gonna want to do that ahead of time and allow it to dry. Maybe I can use the heat tool on it, but because it's, you know, baker's twine, I don't want it to catch fire, so let's not do that. Did you shut my door? Oh, burn it out. All right, so let's get back to this. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put this on dimensionals, but instead of doing a bunch of little dimensionals, see how it's kind of the it's not straight now because we embossed it and we heated it up. I'm actually going to use adhesive sheets, and this is foam adhesive sheets, and this is in the sticky business part of the annual catalog. And what we're going to do is it comes in it's like one big dimensional. So what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of take the sheet and we're going to cut this like this size. Because this way it will help tack it down and make it so it's not bumpy. And we can use these in other parts. I mean, this is fun to use with like the alphabet guys, and then they stand up. just like on dimensionals. Okay. Alright, so we'll put that back later. Okay, so both, I just took the one I cut and put it back in there. Okay, so basically both sides are very sticky. So you're going to do one side at a time. Doesn't matter which. And then we're going to lay that down. See, it's very sticky. We're going to lay that down right in the center there. And not where the holes are, so you don't see it. And so it's going to pop up really nice and then give it a structure, you know, a straight structure. Okay, so we're going to put this in here evenly. All right. So then now we're going to take this and we're going to lay this down. We're going to put adhesive. Now there's not that much space on here to play with, so we're going to grab that silicone mat again and put adhesive on there. And that's going to go just like that. And then here is the greetings and that we cut out earlier. So we're going to put that right there. And we're going to put a mini glue dot at the end. That's the first one that came up. So we're going to grab my people poker. And first of all, I'm just going to take that out of my way. Okay, so this, I'm going to put it right there, that mini glue dot. And I'm just going to kind of roll it. And stick it. Okay, then we're going to take actual dimensionals. And we're going to put one right there and one not all the way to the center because it's going to pop off. The dimensional is going to pop off there. So we're going to take that, grab that, and stab that. Take these two backings off and throw that away. And then we're going to take this piece right here. Okay, this is our, we're going to use our mini glue dot. We're going to pick that up, okay? And then we're going to lay that down right on the edge there like that. And then we're going to snip this. And we're going to put that in the trash. And see how that holds very nicely. And where did that go? There it is. I don't want to lose the cover to my people poker. Okay, so we're going to put that back. Okay, so we're not done yet. We are going to use the Wink of Stella. And we're going to hit those Calypso coral dots. So we're going to do the same thing on the inside. No way. Wow, I have never done that before. I just made my card upside down. Okay then, we're going to fix that. All right. I have never done that on a Facebook Live. Well, let's show you how to fix it then. Okay, so now by coloring in these leaves, you're going to take that dimension away a lot because you're not going to see those the definition that the stamp has in there. But that's okay. We're going to use the Wink of Stella and we're going to make it sparkle. I like sparkle. Okay. Card's upside down. Oh, man. Well, okay, let's show you how to fix that. Okay, first of all, I'm going to wipe my fingers. And I'm going to wipe that off again. Okay, now, if this stayed, we'll see if we could fix it. If not, we'll be sending out the original card. Okay, so the other side of this is what I call the platypus side. It's a thin piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip that around, okay? And I'm going to go in, and I don't think I'm going to be able to save this. If this was dimensionals, it'd be a lot easier, but this thing is one, ooh, maybe. Okay, we're going to put that back, and we're just going to see if we can rip that up, because it hasn't had a lot of time to set. If this was tomorrow, yeah, I would never try this. Ooh, it's lifting up. Don't try this again at home. Luckily, oh my goodness, this is working, guys. Ah, look at that. You're not going to know. Whoever wins this card is going to be like, wow, she showed a technique and what not to do on a card. Yeah, now we're going to put that back. And I think, yep. Okay. Isn't that cool? All right, so now we are going to, I'm going to show you now where I got my inspiration for the colors that I have decided to use for this particular card. It's the gems that came along. The Adhesive Bagged Trio. These are in the annual catalog, and they are Fresh Freesia, Pretty Peacock, and Calypso Coral. So we're going to use the Calypso Coral, and we're going to use the People Poke, or the putty part, and we're going to put one right down here, and we're going to stick one right over here. And one. I think right there. Okay. So, what do you think? Isn't that pretty? So, who wants to win this card? Alright, so to win this card, all you have to do is do a thumbs up or a heart. That will get your name entered into the drawing. If you leave a comment, all you have to do is say hi, or you could say, wow, I love those colors together, or hey, this is my first time watching your video. Even if you watch the replay, do that, because I don't pick my card winners right away. I want people to get a chance to find me and then share me and get a chance to win. Also, if you share this video, you can get 2 entries. So you have 4 different ways to enter to win this card. if I do not have your address, I will send you a Facebook message saying, "Hi, this is Joy. You won card from episode number 343. Send me your address and I will mail it to you for free." So thank you very much for hanging out with me on a Sunday evening. And I hope you have a great week. And hopefully I'll be back on Thursday after 5 o'clock. I might even be on earlier.